and welcome to ETEnergyworld. I am Sudhir, and this is the curtain raiser of our flagship event, Annual Gas Conclave, where we are today talking to Shahid Levy. He is the co-founder and the CEO of LocusView. A very warm welcome to you on our platform, Shahid. Natural gas projects, and in fact, the entire industry. It's going to play a very important, a very crucial role in, India's quest for cleaner energy alternatives. That's how we look at it. So in that entire context, let me start this discussion by asking you, first of all, if you could throw some light upon the overall gas market in India. How do you look at it? How does LocusView look at the India's natural gas market, or which are the areas where you think maximum growth potential exists?
Hello, hi. Very happy to be here again and speak with you and share my insight around the industry and our experience in India in general. As you know, we entered the Indian market about 2 years ago after really looking into India and understand the unique combination that we have in the gas industry in India between, on one side, it's clear that the energy sector is booming. We are looking into massive investment in building the gas network in India almost from scratch, with the total goal to achieve about 50% market share in terms of gas resources. And it's a huge challenge to be able to build and bring the network to all across India. It's a huge challenge. It's a system that you need to build, will involve high pressure pipeline, domestic and distribution network, and so on and so forth. And it's challenging. It's challenging because on the one hand, of course, you need to invest a lot of capital in order to build the network, but you also want to do it in an efficient way, in a safe manner. And I think in this regard, the fact that India is building its gas network today, they can, when they have all the industry behind them, the finance behind them, and what we learned from doing similar projects all across the world, this is what gives India the unique opportunity to do it in the right way. And what it means for me in the right way is means that how can I make sure that now that I'm investing billions and billions of dollars into building the network, how can I make sure that the infrastructure that I'm going to build is going to be on time, on budget, and in a safe manner? At the end of the day, what I want to make sure that I'm doing the projects and that I have the resources, but also that I have all the data and information that I need in order now to take it into the next level and make sure that now I can really operate and maintain the network to the next 50 years. And this is the challenge. And I think that the fact that India, with, again, on the one hand, the challenge of building the network, the financial resources, but also the tech leadership in India, put India in a very unique position to do it and to get to a position when they can build a network in an efficient and safe manner.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Chair, for that great answer. It's every time you emphasize upon doing projects, the difference between doing projects and doing projects the right way, which basically means looking at aspects like safety or speed and etc. There's a lot of difference there, and it's very important to understand that for project managers, no doubt. Let me ask you the other question, which is, how and why do you think it is an opportune time, the right time currently for the industry and policymakers to gather, on a platform like the Annual Gas Conclave that we have and share and learn from the experience? In other words, what should be the top points of discussion under the agenda for an event like this, according to you?
Yeah, I think the main focus should be on really being able to learn from each and every one and their own experience. I can give you an example. Over the past 12 months, we're doing a pretty interesting project with BPCL, helping them in their effort to build the Binapanki gas project. Over there, it was our first project in the country, and we were, I would say, we'd be honored to work with BPCL on this project and really bring our technology and helping them to build a network. Now, this was one project, but actually what we did in this project is we went out to the field and gather, and with the team of BPCL, make sure that the technology is suitable and can really help them to achieve their goals. Now, this was the project that we did with BPCL. There are many other projects that are going on in the country which has similar conditions and similar goals. Now, if we can bring, for example, people that work with us on the BPCL project, take the knowledge and the lesson learned that we had from this project and then take it to other project that is done by other company, HPC or whatever, other country that is also part of the same ecosystem, then it's a huge benefit. What I'm trying to say that here is an example from how you can see what a friend of you, a colleague, is going through the same challenges as you are, and you can share the best practices, the lesson learned, and mainly how can we take what we know from a professional perspective as a gas operator or any type of energy resource, and bring technology to help us scale, to help us to achieve our goals. I think that at the end of the day, when you look at it, and we have projects all across the world, you see that all of the companies are building the network almost the same way. They have joints, they have wells, they have pipes and feedings and so on and so forth. And also the challenges are the same. So if I can learn from companies and see how they've been using technology to help them to meet their goals, and then bring it to my own company, this is the main benefits. Of course, especially these days during COVID, when the ability to go out and meet in person is limited, the ability to be on such a platform, to bring people from the same, that are having the same challenges, but also the same opportunities in front of them, and share ideas, share case studies, best practices, and so on. I think this is the huge advantage here and the opportunity. And I think it's a great platform to do it on. And again, just gave you as the example that I had on what we did with BPCL. How can we now take the people from BPCL and they how can take what they have learned and bring it to other places in the industry all across India?
Thank you. Thanks for that answer, Share. So you're basically saying that it's very broadly speaking, same kind of opportunities and challenges that are there for not just India, I mean, operators outside also, all the countries. It's very important for the main stakeholders to come together and share and learn from each other's experience. Thank you for that, for those great comments, Share. And we really look forward to hosting you at the event. Please carry on. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much. Good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome on our platform and a very warm welcome on this curtain raiser of the ET Annual Gas Conclave, where we are today talking to Mr. D.K. Saraf. He's the former chairman of ONGC and former chairperson of PNGRB. A very warm welcome to you, sir. And let me start this discussion by asking you, as an industry veteran, as somebody who has looked at the oil and gas space in India for a long, long time, and somebody also who has been in the helm of affairs at ONGC and PNGRB. How do you view the current state of affairs in the natural gas sector in this country?
Thank you, Sudhir, very much for having me here. If you're asking me this question and I need to reply in one line, I would reply with confidence that I can say that natural gas sector in India today is best placed in the last couple of years. And why do I say this? I would explain this to you. First of all, for a sector to be vibrant, you require a very clear vision from the policymakers so that the job of implementers become easy and they can focus on that vision. Now, so where the vision is concerned, the vision is very clear, though it's quite ambitious. And the vision is that we need to increase the share of natural gas in our energy basket from existing 6.7% to 15%. This share of natural gas globally is 24.7%. Incidentally, in the state of Gujarat, it's already 25%, little above than the global average. So can we achieve this by 2030, which is the goal stated? Looks difficult, but nevertheless, vision should always be overambitious for everybody to be on their toes. And so it is in this case as well. And but it provides a very clear vision, the desire, the deep desire of the policy makers that where we want to reach. And on the other side, the support system from everyone, be it the government, both union government and the state governments, the regulator, the industry, everybody is very, very supportive. The entire ecosystem is very supportive. So that's why the job of implementation would become easier. Now, if we talk of implementation on gas to achieve this vision, firstly, for gas sector, especially, you require huge infrastructure to be in place. So what's the status of infrastructure? I would tell shortly. The infrastructure you can divide in three parts. Firstly, the LNG terminals. Sometime back, a few years back, we had only 3 LNG terminals in the entire country. The haze of Petronet LNG, Shell's Hazira, and the whole terminal of GAIL, which was partially available. Now we have more than 10 terminals which are already running. And they are already under construction. Kochi terminal recently became available after the Kochi to Mangalore pipeline of GAIL was commissioned, and several other terminals like GSPC's Mundra terminal, IOC's Ennore terminal have also been completed. In fact, the media reports very recently that IOC is planning to double the size of its Ennore terminal to 10 million ton. Certain other terminals are also in different stages of completion, like Jaigarh terminal of ETEnergy, Chhara of HPCL, Dhamra terminal of Adani, Jafrabad of Swan, and there is one more terminal which is coming in the West Bengal by ETEnergy. There could be some more which I may not be aware really, but and the Dahej terminal has been upgrading its capacity periodically. So lot of activities in this. Today we have about 40 million ton of capacity, and in couple of years it is going to increase to 70 million tons, which the government had the vision to increase to by 2030. I think this goal would be pre-achieved by several years. And government's vision is to increase this capacity to 100 million tons by 2040. So that also should not be difficult. Second part of the infrastructure is natural gas pipelines. Today in the country, we have about 32,500 kilometers of pipeline, out of which 17,000 kilometers is already constructed, and balance 15,000 odd is under construction. Out of this, more than 9,000 kilometers has been authorized by PNGRB in last couple of years. So good progress on this front, and several new pipelines like Kochi to Mangalore, which I just mentioned, and Mehsana Bhatinda of GSPC, and Urja Ganga, the big pipeline. It's a cross-country pipeline of GAIL. They are either fully completed or very substantially completed. More importantly, PNGRB recently commissioned a study which has already been completed to assess the demand of natural gas year by year, district by district, industry by industry from today to 2040. And on the other side, what would be domestic production year-wise and basin-wise, and what's the gap which has to be imported by LNG terminals, and then what the study has done, that where the LNG terminals should be best placed to be placed, as well as where the new pipeline should come, so that the pipeline network can go to the district level. So this study has already been completed, and once it comes in the public domain, then it would act as a guidelines to the people who have to act upon this, that where the new terminal should come and where the new pipeline should come. So this is going to be a very big enabler for the industry. The third part of infrastructure is city gas distribution, or what we call CGD. The 9th and 10th rounds were completed by PNGRB in 2018-19, and they were grand success. And that increased the population coverage from 17% to 71% in just 1 year, from 18-19. And the commitments which the industry gave in these rounds for creation of infrastructure was really huge, very encouraging. The 42.3 million new domestic connections to be given, 8,000 plus new CNG stations to be given in next 8 years from 18-19. So that was really huge. And now, very timely, PNGRB has initiated 11th bidding round, which is closing in this December. And what I believe, the PNGRB colleagues, they informed me that the progress is quite good and they are getting a good response from the industry. After this round, the population coverage of CGD would be as high as 96%. Almost the entire country would be, I think there would be authorization for CGD distribution. So this is going to be a sea change. And once this is done, then the industry can focus on implementation. PNGRB can focus on implementation and enabling that how this has to be taken forward. So, and how to make the new pipelines come. So that would be the focus of the PNGRB and the industry. So quite good progress. I'm quite happy about it. Secondly, after infrastructure, creation of efficient market. This is also equally important, and I would say sometimes it is even more important. A new gas trading exchange has been already established. It would provide different alternatives to the consumers from where they want to purchase. They will have multiple choice of different suppliers. Similarly, the suppliers would have different alternatives that whom they want to sell, which consumer. So the markets would be quite competitive. They would be quite open. They would be more transparent. And with this transparency, the consumers would be tend to opt voluntarily for natural gas as a viable, transparent fuel and feed option. So now the volumes of the gas exchange would increase in course of the coming years. But first important step was establishment of the exchange, which has already been done. PNGRB has made several new regulations which have been notified, like enabling competition and enabling new entities to come in the authorized areas wherever the marketing exclusivity has been has expired. And also importantly, new draft regulation is in public domain. It's yet to be notified by PNGRB, which I believe it will do once the full board is in place, which is expected early next month, which enables providing the real-time online information on the availability of the pipeline capacity and making the gas pipelines available to the customers on a non-discriminatory basis. So this is also going to be done. If I want to sum up this long answer to your question, that due to several proactive steps which have been taken in the past by the government and PNGRB and duly supported by the industry, the natural gas sector is going to be vibrant in the coming years.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for that really great answer. You're basically saying infrastructure creation is happening, market development is happening, and there's a lot of good progress there, right? But if I were to ask you, what steps further should the government take to achieve this vision of creating a gas-based economy? It's a very ambitious plan that we have. So how do you look at India's ambitions of developing a gas-based economy in the long run? Are we ready?
Yeah, the government has been quite supportive in the past. but still, I would say that there have been certain gaps. There are certain things which are yet to be done by the government. Government is quite seized of these matters, and they have been considering. But the real need is that how quick they can act upon these things. Firstly is the deregulation of pricing and marketing of natural gas, which is one thing. Today, the price of gas is declared half yearly based on certain indices, which are quite transparently available. But the price which comes is a regulated price in any case. So the question is that why the price needs to be regulated. It needs to be left to the market forces. Let the demand and supply forces determine the price. What happens globally, and what happens even in India for other petroleum products. It happens for crude oil, it happens for petrol and diesel, it happens even for LPG and other products. So likewise, natural gas pricing and distribution needs to be left open to the market forces. Today, the producer gets, and it has got serious production implication also, which is more important. It's not that important, perhaps, that how much price the producer gets, but it is more important that by tweaking the or by making the sector deregulated, can we increase the natural gas production? Can we go towards monetization of the resources? That is more important, and that's deregulation can achieve. Today, the producer gets, until a couple of weeks back, $1.79. Now it is increased a little bit. So $1.79 is just a fraction of the global price. And the producer's concern is that it cannot meet the cost of production, especially in case of incremental production. So how they start new projects, because they are also all listed companies, though they are government companies, but they are listed companies. So how do they start new projects? So now the question is, the situation which comes is very anomalous. The resources are there. We are importing at very high prices, and the domestic producer is being given a very low price, and he can't increase the production. So you can't have a greater anomaly than this in this sector. And we have lost last few years of low gas prices, which were very apt, very appropriate for deregulating the gas economy. We have lost that opportunity, because the moment you deregulate and if the prices increase all of a sudden, that's what something which the government does not like. So, but when the prices are low, that's the most best opportunity for the government to deregulate the sector. That opportunity we have lost. And today, of course, it's not the right time to deregulate the price, because the prices are globally very high. Government would need to wait for some time when the prices settle down to a single reasonable level. At the time, government should deregulate the price. While deregulating, the government's concern in deregulation is that their fertilizer subsidy would increase, and it's a that's what the government thinks. But there are several studies. They are in fact not studies even. They are arithmetical calculations, simple calculations, to suggest that though the subsidy would increase, but the government's revenue in terms of incremental royalty, in terms of incremental gas, profit gas, in terms of more of corporate tax, more of dividend from the PSUs, NOCs, all this incremental gain would be far more than increase in subsidy. So it makes good economic sense also for the government to increase the or deregulate the prices. On the other side, it's very strange that even natural gas, even the fertilizer sector is also opposing this. And the reason is in the first go is not understood, because the cost of gas is passed through. But when you inquire somewhat more, the reason comes that there is a delay in release of subsidy. And until that time, the fertilizer companies' working capital is blocked, and there is an additional interest implication. So just because of additional interest implication of fertilizer companies, or because of delay in release of subsidy, nation is losing gas production, though the resources are there, and by spending precious foreign exchange. So a greater anomaly again than this, it's difficult to find. So this is one thing which the government can do, of course not today, whenever an opportunity of stable gas prices come. So this is something to do for the government. Second is GST. GST is like certain other petroleum products has not been made applicable on natural gas. If GST is made applicable, maybe at a little higher rate than what the industry really expects, I think that would make one country, one market for natural gas, and the gas trading exchange also would prosper, its volumes would increase, and there would be more clarity among the customers. So that is the second which would be there. And thirdly, which PNGRB needs to do at this moment is to implement some of the regulations which it made recently, and take them to the logical conclusion, and notify some new regulations which are already in public domain. So these are the things which can be and should be done at an appropriate time. And and once this is done, I think the government's vision would be more near to 15% vision of the government. And I'm sure that the government is seized to with all these matters, and appropriate decision would be taken.
Yeah. One of the things that is often looked at as a constraint for this sector is low production from aging fields or assets that we have, and that combined with the volatility in prices that we generally see, it becomes a problem. Where do you think the country stands today on both of these points, according to you?
Yeah, and this concern is the concern of everybody, that the gas production in the country is not increasing significantly. A few years back, when the Reliance field of Eastern Offshore, KG Basin, that was on its peak production, the gas production was higher. And after that, once that field starts declining after a couple of years of production, the production has been declining. And the ONGC's production of natural gas has been little stable to on the decline phase, though ONGC has been making various efforts. So this is a concern which everybody shares, and several steps have been taken by the government as well as by the gas producers. What government has done, let's see that government has been taking actions for making this sector more investor friendly. The OALP, which is open acreage licensing policy, was announced some time back, some years back, and several rounds have been completed in that. So it's a totally new concept. It's a round the year bidding. So it's not that one has to wait until the new round comes, and the explorers may choose where they want to explore hydrocarbons. where they see opportunities, and they can ask the government that we would like this particular area to be given for bidding, and government does that in the next round. And it's a regime where one single license is applicable for all sort of hydrocarbon resources, be it the conventional oil and gas, be it shale oil, be it CBM or anything else. So one single license for everything. And most importantly, this is revenue sharing, as against earlier it was production sharing. And the significance is that revenue is more easy to determine than production profit. So that is a big thing. And here the advantage is that it's very investor friendly, because the investor need not wait for government decision for so many things. The government's role here is only to monitor the production, and most of the operation decision are left with the operator. So the royalty have been reduced to a great extent. The cess has been abolished in the new areas. So all these things government has done. On the part of the companies, several steps have been taken. More aggressive exploration and more aggressive development. And ONGC some years back conducted a sponsored study sponsored by the government to update the hydrocarbon potential of all the basins of India. Another study was conducted by ONGC and oil collectively, funded by government, for carrying out extensive seismic survey of the onshore areas. Offshore was to be done by the government itself. And the result has been that two new basins have been discovered. One is in Kutch, Saurashtra, and another very recently in West Bengal. And these would now go for development. On the development and production front, the fields are quite old, and they are on, most of them are on declining stage. Even to maintain the production, one has to continuously make incremental investment, both in exploration as well as development. And then the subject of economics comes, which I just mentioned. The prices needs to be remunerative, especially of natural gas. The new projects have been taken up, especially in the East Coast, both by Reliance BP Consortium that for their gas project, as well as for ONGC in KG DWN 98/2. Though this project is delayed significantly, but I think in 2022 or 23, the project will be completed, and before that, some production has already started coming in, but the in full-scale production would come in 22 or 23. So the ONGC and the private players are doing more and more projects, but still the results are not commensurate with whatever efforts are being done, and the declining fields of the country are responsible mainly for that.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So last question to you, given this kind of really big awareness that is happening now on environment and climate change related aspects, and the development of larger public opinion against fossil fuels, where do you think natural gas is placed in this entire campaign, on this entire subject? How is natural gas placed, and where is it placed, according to you?
Okay, I would rather say that natural gas, more of natural gas, is a step towards supporting the climate initiatives and the making the less of CO2 emission, etc. You see how much CO2 is emitted by different fossil fuels. Coal emits 205 to 222 pounds of CO2 per MMBTU. Petrol and diesel, it is about 160 pounds of CO2 emission for each MMBTU. On the and natural gas is the lowest. It is just 117 pounds per MMBTU. So the emission of CO2 is lowest. So the fossil fuels are concerned with the natural gas, and the country consumes, country burns lot of coal. And do we want to say that we are going to stop coal burning in next few decades? Perhaps no. And then the natural gas comes in the end, and natural gas comes in the end after coal and even the liquids. So this is one. And second is there is a new concept which is coming, is the biogas, which is which I mean the country is wanting to have 5,000 plants of biogas with an investment of 200,000 crore of rupees under the government's initiative of Satat, as they say, and 14 million tons of biogas would be produced under that once these 5,000 plants are fully made. It's quite massive. It's quite massive. And the rationale is again, I mean, environment. Because all the agriculture waste which is burnt in and around Delhi, which creates a lot of pollution, all that can be effectively converted into energy. And that's what the biogas plants are meant for. The forest waste, the animal waste, all that can be converted through these biogas plants into energy. And that's what the country is thinking through these 5,000 plants. And on the other side, on the economic side, on the social side, it would create additional income for the farmers. And the government is committed to increase the or rather double the income of the farmers in the next couple of years. Additional employment in villages, new entrepreneurs. So all that would come. The animal waste would be effectively utilized, because that animal waste also creates CO2. So all that is going to be done. So I think these are the initiatives which the government has taken for utilizing natural gas for climate control.
Okay, thank you, sir. Very, very great answers you've given, no doubt about it. And we have covered a lot of really important points in this discussion. And thank you for your time. We really look forward to hosting you again on this platform. And thanks. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sudhir. I enjoyed this discussion. Thank you very much.
Same here. Thank you.